Well, there's a lot of ironies going on here. So, I need to get to work soon, so I'm gonna have to try to be as nice and concise to Nora as possible. So I will just jump in. If you have any questions, like what are you talking about? What do you mean? I will answer your questions below. But I will take for granted that people know the big controversy is Tom wrote an article, which I think seems badly misunderstood, and Nora did provide a service of reading through the article. So I'm like, okay. I mean, the proposal just seems very plain and simple. Focus on Miscavige and focus on putting him in jail. That's about it. And avoiding these larger fights or issues of, well, is Scientology a religion or not? Don't really care. Should you believe in it or care about Hubbard? Don't care about that either. Focus on putting the guy in jail. So focus the energies on Miscavige. So seems fairly not controversial, but it garnered this massive backlash by some people. Uh, and there's a lot that's a little hard to believe. Sonora says, oh, I just became aware of this. Really? So what were you doing for the whole week? And then there was the very violent response by Liz Gale, having these weird, violent fantasies of what he's going to do to Tom and, yes, Tom's daughter. And she claims total ignorance there either. Okay, all right, well, let's be charitable. So let's just deal with the actual Tom article and her response. So I think I summed up the core of the article, and to that, Nora gave some contradictory responses. So, one, she accused him of being secretly still a Scientologist, but she agrees with the point that, yeah, the infighting is bad and the infighting should go away, even though she just accused him of a very radical, serious charge and didn't bother to provide any evidence. But she wants an end to infighting, but we're going to continue just doing crazy accusations. Right. Makes a lot of sense. What always strikes me about Nora's presentations is just how deeply unserious she is. So she goes through this for a minute saying, I'm still dealing with the guilt of what I did. It was so horrible. Oh, it was so horrible. And guys, anyway, I need to take my kids somewhere. So we got to end this soon. Right. That's her radical activism. Guys, it's nice. I'm responding to the article, but I got to go away now. And she had issues with her dog, who she kept calling Walker or something. So I'm like, I'm failing to see what your issue is. On the one hand, you get into this weird moralistic rhetoric, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, guys, I gotta go. I mean, I gotta go. We're doing the real work. Lara's screaming at the blue building. So it's hard to know what we're responding to because you don't really care about anything. So whatever. Okay, so but trying to be generous for analytic point is that Tom crediting like one place Debbie Cook and her famous email challenging Miscavige. Well, it was actually there was two things that were really puzzling. So because Miscavige is widely homophobic, he insulted Debbie Cook and called her a lesbian. And Nora just scoffs that off, saying, "Who cares? Who cares, really?" Right, Nora. But when you tell your stories about Sea War, you're like, "Oh, the homophobia was how did I survive?" Well, that's a little weird. So homophobia, when you experience it, is really terrible. But when others experience it, it's like, who cares? Really, who cares? And if your dismissal of Tom is that, well, the Debbie Cook email didn't stop Scientology, guys. It just didn't stop Scientology. Well, neither has screaming a la Lara. Lara screaming hasn't stopped Scientology either. So we're back to square one. I mean, it's very strange that the article, and Tom even did a follow up article saying, I don't know why what I said offended so many people, but I'm going to just continue focus on this and trying to have some unity and stop getting distracted. So I don't know. It's very weird that Nora says one thing that says, "Oh, this was a really bad cult experience," and well, she got so many things wrong. And usually, I do this for channel members. I could do a very long essay on this. So she says, "Oh, groupthink. That's Scientology term. That's a Scientology word," showing her immense, and I mean immense, ignorance of the psychological literature. Groupthink, the concept of groupthink, even the term is totally independent of Scientology. Now, it could be it is a quote Scientology term, but likely, given L. Ron's record, he probably just stole it and didn't give credit. Like, I remember reading about groupthink for a bunch of other essays and research pieces I had to do. There's actually quite a few interesting treatments of it. One of them, probably one of the more famous one, is the Cuban Missile Crisis and how Kennedy and his staff were just so right. They had such a common brain that their pattern of behavior could be mapped out. Um, and it's somewhere around here because I have so many books. There was someone who went more in depth and showed a consistency of record in terms of policies because of groupthink, right? So I'm not sure what Nora meant there. Is she literally saying the term is the Scientology term? That can't be the case. Or she's saying, which is also stupid, that, well, even if it is a Scientology term, we should be using it because, and again, I'm taking for granted we're using it from the psychological literature. I mean, that's another thing she seems totally ignorant of, that L. Ron says one thing about psychology, but he is basically doing psychology. So she doesn't seem to be aware of that. But she herself is demonstrating groupthink by her very action. In fact, this video is a nice example of her groupthink, as well as her whiny, phony moralism and her constant blaming of Aaron and, yeah, Mike Rinder. And I'll be fair to her, in earlier videos, she was a little bit more honest because somehow she forgets to note, like this never happened, that producing a TV show and talking to reporters or whatever, who cares? That's nothing. Really, what does that really mean? Yeah, she helped produce the Aftermath show. Now, I'll be fair, I don't think the Aftermath show is really that interesting or important because it doesn't really say anything. Nevertheless, she keeps touting that in her resume. She did that just a few days ago against Zero Dark Thirty. Now, magically, it doesn't matter. I agree, Nora. It doesn't matter. So you didn't do anything. But something did happen when you worked with Render, because she keeps going, oh, the Render monster. Well, you worked with him. Oh, and here's a big thing I give. This is just free, guys. For usually I give the secrets to the channel members. You got paid. You got paid. And you got paid very, very well. So this whole like, oh my Render. Well, he paid you and you took the money. And you're saying it's all blood money. You took it freely, gladly. There are. You have a lot of blood on your hands. You don't care. You don't care. I mean, just being analytic. Let's just be logical. Okay, so you're saying X committed major crimes, is a major criminal. Oh, let me work with that major criminal. Well, if you do that, you're in a criminal conspiracy with that person. That's what happens. Are you going to go to jail? No, you're not any serious prospect of you going to jail. That's not going to happen. And we'll put aside, okay, the legality of it, the sheer morality is, oh, he's super evil. Oh, God, all the evil. You worked with him. You took the money. So you embrace the evil. So please stop with all, oh, I'm so pure and good. No, you're not. And as much as I can blame Aaron, and Aaron does deserve a lot of blame, you make it sound as if you put a gun to your head. No, you made a choice. You made a choice. In fact, when she reflects upon her own years of being toxic and hurting people, going after them, insulting them, slandering, politics, she said, yeah, that happened. Oh, none of that matters. Okay. Well, I don't get it. So when you do fair gaming, yeah, whatever. I mean, it happened. But when other people do fair gaming, they go to jail. How does that work? Alrighty then. So yeah, it's just a heaping mess. But she's busy, guys. She's got to do something with the kids. Right. Well, I got to go to work too. So as usual, her response is evasive, deceptive, and we didn't learn very much at all. But let's be fair. Okay. So she's ignorant of what Liz Gale, her friend, did apparently the whole week. Day after day, she just doesn't know. Okay, well, eventually you're gonna have to know, right, Nora? Yeah, people do seem to know this. So we'll see her response there. I can predict she's gonna be evasive again and try to find some weak excuse for Liz Gale's, well, there's no nice way of putting it, is terrorism. That's okay though, when Liz Gale terrorizes people. That's just you know, that's just beautiful, guys. It's beautiful activism. Right, 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 right. Well, we'll wait and see. Let's be fair. We'll wait and see. Unlike her, let's not jump to conclusions based on nothingness. Well, we'll wait and see.